Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another class. Let me take you through a lovely morning routine that will get your body moving and get you ready for the day. If you'd like to join me in a kneeling plank position, we're going to get onto your hands and knees and walk the hands slightly further forwards, let the hips drop and tuck the tailbone. Draw the shoulder blades down and open the collarbones wide. Find strength here through your core. Find strength and stability around the pelvis. Push back to child's pose. Find length through your spine. Allow the shoulder blades to rise up the back. Allow the head to relax. And then bring it forwards again to your kneeling plank. We're going to transition back to child's pose and forwards to kneeling plank. Now you can do this at my pace, or you can do this at whatever pace suits your body this morning. I love this as a warm-up because you're moving your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and we're getting all of those muscles in the back to move up and down as well. You can hopefully feel that stretch, that elongation as you come back to the child's pose, and then that strength as the shoulder blades draw down your spine as you go to your kneeling plank. Just allow the head and neck to settle quite freely and keep going for a few more rounds. We're going to finish off with one more round and then settle back into a wide knee child's pose. Bring the big toes to touch, take the knees wide to the edge of the mat, and that gives you lots of space to bring your chest or your belly down towards the floor. You could rest your forehead or you could rest your chin. Walking the hands then back in towards the body. We're going to come up onto the tiptoes, so keeping the feet together, curl the toes underneath you. See if you can push off with the hands to lift the knees. Now keep the hands here if you need the balance, otherwise see if you can slowly start to lift your hands up above your head, stacking the spine, finding that strength in your toe balance. Settle shoulders down away from ears, elongate neck, and then we gently bring the hands back down, walking them forwards, falling back into your wide knee child's pose. So big toes together and knees nice and wide. Relax the head or the chin towards your mat. Take a couple of breaths here. And again, starting to walk those hands back in towards you. Curl the toes underneath you and start to lift the knees. So you can brace maybe your heels together, can be quite a nice way to find the balance, and then start to raise the arms. That's it. Knees nice and wide, heels bracing, shoulders drop down and relaxed. And gently hands back to the floor, drop the knees back down to the mat as well. Start to walk out to a nice wide knee child's pose. And then one more time, walk the hands back in. Curl the toes, start to lift the knees, shift the weight back into the feet. So again, you could brace your heels together if you found that useful, and see if you can bring hands free. If you're still got fingertips on the mat to support you, that's absolutely fine. You've got to start somewhere. And then gently bring those hands back down towards the mat. We're going to bring the knees back into a parallel position, and we're going to start to walk the hands forwards. You could come up onto tiptoe fingers here, so create like a tent with your hands and slowly start to let the chest drop down. If you can, keep the bottom stacked above the knees, so the bottom sticking up into the air, and we find a nice puppy pose here. If this is too much with the fingertips tented, relax elbows and forearms towards the mat and settle in. This is quite a deep stretch for the shoulders, so go as far as you want to, and a nice curve for the back. Start to walk the hands back in, and we'll come to a hands and knees posture, ready for the next little bit. So from the hands and knees, we're just going to take a threading the needle type movement. So lift and reach, and then thread through and under, but you're going to come all the way down to the mat. So bring your shoulder and the side of your head down to the mat to find a nice deep twist in the body. And breathing here, breathing into the side of the body, breathing into the back of the body. And then pushing back to hands and knees, we'll have a go on the other side. Lift and twist. And then thread through and under, bringing the shoulder and the side of the head toward the mat. and then back to hands and knees. So where your wrists are at the moment, if you can place your elbows there instead, spread the fingertips nice and wide, find good grounding through the elbows and the forearms. You can relax your head. We're going to do a press-up position, so this is quite an easy tricep press-up. Think about squeezing your inner arms in and squeezing your elbows in rather than letting your arms kind of roll out wide. So draw a kind of force in towards the midline here through the arms. And then press down through the hands, the elbows straighten, and the elbows and forearms lift off the mat. Gently lower them down again. So keep that inward force through the arms as you gently push up and down. So this gives you your tricep press up. This is like a level 1 modified press up, and it should start to get your your triceps working, particularly as you squeeze those inner arms. Good. Last one. And we're going to hold up here. We're going to curl the toes. See if you can engage your core, hover your knees, and lift and pike your hips up towards the ceiling. Now, if you want to stay on the tiptoes, you can. If you want to find a bit more grounding, feel free to turn this into a downward dog and try and get the heels a little bit closer to the mat and get a little bit more foot support. Lifting those hips nice and high, pushing through the hands. Lovely. So back to a tiptoe position. You're going to gently take your knees back down to the mat and into another press up. So allow your elbows to come down to the mat. Squeeze the arms towards the midline of the mat. Push strong through the hands and then hover the knees and pike the hips. Good. And again, knees down, elbows down, and press up. Hover knees, pike the hips. And knees down, elbows down. Squeeze inwards through the arms as you do your press. And lift knees, pike the hips. Good, knees down, elbows down. And again, squeeze inwards through the arms, press through the hands, lift the knees, pike the hips. And again, knees down, elbows down. And 2 more rounds, squeezing inwards all the way through the arms. Good, piking those hips. And let's go for our final round here, knees down, elbows down, squeeze in through the arms. Good, push through those hands and lift and pike the hips. This should be feeling quite nice and hot now. So you're starting to find a more achievable downward dog. So if you need to reposition hands, reposition feet, make this a little bit more comfortable for yourself, please do. And just start to pedal out through the feet there. Let the head relax and drop. So you're looking just between your legs, lifting the tailbone higher. And then come to even out through the legs. We're going to see if we can come up to that tiptoe position again. And we're going to lift one hand and reach through towards the opposite ankle. Good. Gently place the hand back into downward dog on the tiptoes. Other hand reaches through. Good. And twisting there. Trying to look underneath your shoulder if you can. 3, 2, 1. Back to your downward dog. And let's come back to the hands, knees. And take it back to child's pose and take 3 deep breaths in the child's pose. Join me now on your side for side lying. Now for side lying, it's important that you make your neck nice and comfortable. So you could either lie down and rest your head on your arm. You might like a combination of your arm and a pillow or an arm and a block. Or alternatively, you can prop up here on the elbow and the forearm for a bit more support. If you are doing this, just be careful that we're not kind of sinking into this shoulder. We're staying nice and strong and we're lifting our ribcage away from the mat. So keeping a nice length from your crown, shoulder, through your hip, down towards your ankle. Let's just point our top toe and we're going into leg lifts. So lift and lower, lift and lower. We're watching this top hip. We don't want it to crowd and collapse in towards the rib too much. So we're trying to keep this hip elongating down towards the bottom end of the mat here. So let's go for another 6, 5, 4, 3, keeping the length through the waist, 2, 1, hold it there and pulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Lovely. Keep the height, so keep the foot in line with the hip. Now keeping the hip in position, so top hip stacked above base hip, start to gently take your toes forwards a little bit. Now careful this hip doesn't roll forwards because you will fall forwards too. Flex the foot and drag the heel back just behind the line of the body. So we go forwards with the toes, back with the heel. Forwards with the toes, back with the heel, keeping this top hip absolutely steady. Forwards with the toes, back with the heel. Forwards with the toes, back with the heel. Forwards with the toes, back with the heel. Toes forwards, flex foot, heel back. Toes forwards, heel back. And toes forwards and heel back. So we're working with this same leg now, but we're going to roll over onto our backs. And we're going to do a single leg circle with this leg. So same leg that you've just worked, let's keep that nice and strong, nice and hot. We're going to start to take that leg up towards the ceiling. And we're going to go for single leg circle here. So starting to take some circles around, originating from your hip joint. Now your goal here is to try and keep your hips as stationary as possible. So keeping the sacrum in contact with the mat behind you, keeping the belly button pointing to the sky so that your hips and bottom aren't rolling side to side too much, because the weight of your leg will want to roll your hips. So we're trying to keep a really steady body, and you'll feel your core starting to move on this, starting to squeeze and engage, helping you out. So your last couple of circles. And then change of direction. So again, keeping those hips as steady as you can. You can keep the circles smaller if you're struggling with the stability. And another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Place that leg back down. We're going to swap legs now, so if you want to join me back on your side for side lying on the other leg. So again, make sure your neck's comfortable so you can lay down, or you can prop up on elbow and forearm. Stay strong out the base shoulder, elongating the top hip. Let's point the toe, and we're going to lift and lower. Nice. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Good. Keep it up. Keeping that hip away from your rib cage so that it's not collapsing in completely and shortening your waist too much. Lovely. Let's go for another 3, 2, and 1. Holding there, and we're just going to pulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Hold it there at that height. Point your toes. Start to swing the leg forward slightly in front of the body. Flex the foot. Drag the heel back just behind the body line. And again, forwards. Ooh, taking a wobble there. And heel back. Lovely. Toes forwards. Heel back. So if, like me, you had a little wobble, maybe reduce the range of motion. That can be really helpful, because we want to try and keep this hip stacked above the base hip. That's the goal, isn't it? So that we're not rolling forwards or rolling back. Good. So it's toe forwards, heel back. Strong out the base shoulder still. Collarbones nice and open, so we've got that gorgeous frame across the shoulder girdle. Nice. Let's go for about 3 more here. So we've got a 3, a 2, and a 1. Amazing. Join me on your back, and let's do single leg circle. So we're working the same leg we've just worked. Let's take that leg up towards the ceiling and start to take your circles. So as we said here, the goal is to try and keep any hip wobbling to a minimum. So keeping that sacrum in contact with the mat. Noticing that you're trying not to kind of roll onto left hip and right hip here. We're trying to keep the weight really nice and central in the middle of your pelvis as much as we can, despite the weight of the leg taking you around. That's where we get the core engagement and where we get the hip stability. Nice. So let's go for 2 more circles and then change direction. So again, watch the tummy button. You want your tummy button pointing up towards the ceiling. If you start to notice it kind of pointing to the left or pointing to the right a little bit, that's a sign that your hips aren't quite steady and your spine is perhaps twisting a little bit. So it's all about trying to keep the trunk of the body and the pelvis as steady as we can. And this is tough. Long leg, long lever length. Feels quite heavy. So another 3, 2, 1, and relax that leg. Lovely. Walk those feet back in towards your bottom and hug the knees into the chest. Give that a gentle pull in and out through the knees. That should renew this sense of stretch in the lumbar. And then placing the feet onto the mat near to the sit bones. Let's cross the right leg over the left. Just relax your arms to the side of the body. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears and turn your legs and lower body to the left, allowing a lovely twist in the spine. Let's take a few deep breaths here. And then engaging some core to help you return your spine and your sacrum back to the middle of the mat and crossing the legs the other way, left over right. Relax shoulders down away from ears and turn the lower body to the right to give you that twist in the spine. And breathing there. Allow the body to feel nice and heavy on the mat behind you. And then gently bring the legs back through to the center. So I'm going to suggest that you lengthen your legs to the bottom end of your mat, but if you prefer them bent, that's fine. I just want you to be comfortable. Relax your shoulders well down away from the ears and just relax the hands, palms turned upwards. Just now allow your chin to turn to one side so that you're turning to look one way. We're not forcing this. We're just going to now connect with a sense of heaviness in the head. So start to feel the weight of your head on the mat behind you. And that's all you need to do. You don't need to try. Gravity and the weight of your head will do the work. So as you feel how heavy your head is on the mat behind you, your neck will start to stretch. And it's a 0 effort stretch, this. So if you're trying, just stop trying. And take another breath. And then starting to gently, softly return your gaze back through to the ceiling. And again, reset the shoulders nice and low. Let's go to the other way. So turn your chin, turn your head to look one side. And again, no effort required. If you're making effort, you can turn that off. You can just start to connect with the weight of your head on the mat behind you. Take a breath or two here as you release into the stretch. Gravity and the weight of your head will do all of the work that needs to be done. And then slowly bringing the gaze back through to the center. Take your time coming around, because the next stretch can sometimes feel a little bit intense, and come to join me in seated. I hope you've enjoyed that class, and I hope you feel much more ready to take on the day. Thank you for joining.